everyone. My name is Komal Karbrad and I'm here to talk about our group project, and we took the story of Paper Menagerie, in which we basically concentrated on the topic of culture, which according to me was the main message delivered by the writer in the story. So I think culture is an art to represent our customs, our nation, our tradition and our language. It is basically our identity to speak with the people, our identity to address people, our identity to wear, our identity to eat, that grows along with us as we grow from childhood to adulthood. We take our culture more importantly than being a child. So if we talk about the story, in the story Paper Menagerie, Jack was always trying to hide his culture. He never wanted to show up his paper tigers that his mother made for him, because he never wanted to be pointed out as a different in the community he was growing, the American community. Other students, other friends of his, they were playing with other toys, and he never wanted to be pointed as a different with those paper tigers in all those people. And I think so I can relate that thing with me greatly, because when a person immigrates from a country to the foreign country, they just adapt whole new culture, whole new thing, and they just try to hide their own. Like it happens with me also. I try to hide my way of dressing, my way of eating, my way of speaking. Whenever I just go to some work or something, I just try to hide my culture. And I think so that is a basic problem with all the immigrants. We try to hide our culture because we never wanted to be pointed as different in the community we are growing up. We are just in the community we are right now in. And I think so our community, our culture is the basic happiness to us. As in the story, Jack realized at the end, his culture is a happiness. His mother's identity is the basic happiness to him. Also, I think whenever I reach home, I dress up like Indian, I eat like Indian, I feel myself to be attached with the roots of my nation. And I feel the freedom to live, actually, when I just dress in those things. So I think so our culture is an important thing that make us who we are today. So we should never ever hide our culture or adapt. Like, it's good to adapt in a new culture, but we should never forget about our own, because that's the basic identity of ours. Thank you.
So in the story, Jack, as a biracial boy with an American dad and a Chinese mom living in the US, he expressed not only love but also the idea of identity and culture in the story. The experience of neighbors' gossip and being discriminated at school, all these ideas of white supremacists made him confused about who he is and his identity. He knows all these problems came from his Chinese heritage, which from his mom. In order to clarify his identity, Jack's firm attitude of rejecting his mom speaking to him in Chinese at the table, but he also rejects Chinese culture as well as the paper menagerie made by his mom. The pressure from school and society forced him to choose one and give up another. In the story, it said the paper menagerie are no longer alive when his mom passed away. It also shows the disappearance of the culture in his heart.
Hello! So we've chosen the story Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu, and one of the themes I saw developing throughout this story was that of acceptance of yourself, your family, your culture. And actually this is one of the reasons why I personally relate to this story the most, especially as an international student. I came here a few years ago and I did not know anybody, and it was the first time that I would be living without my parents on my own, and I had to adjust to a whole new lifestyle, a whole new culture, and with all of that came this fear of fitting in. So I remember to make friends, especially in the beginning, I used to try to act or be more like the person I was talking to so that they would like me and end up befriending me. But I realized, just like Jack in the story, that I was only fearing to express myself because I did not actually fully accept myself in the first place. And we actually see this in the story with Jack. He does not accept himself, or at least, the Chinese part of himself. because he is embarrassed of his mother and embarrassed of her Chinese heritage that she has passed on to him, which is the root of all of his problems at school and also his struggles with his own self-identity. And he blames his mother for this, of course, and that is why he has avoided her. But I think through communication and talking with my friends, at least for me, I have actually learned so much more about my friends and myself and all of the different cultures that it has led me to actually respect and appreciate my culture a bit more and actually think of myself as a part of it. And so I think this is one of the reasons why I love the story so much, because it really teaches me a lot of things, especially about acceptance and my culture. So that's about it.
Hello. As my fellow mates spoke about the story Paper Menagerie written by Ken Liu, I would like to talk about how I actually felt after reading the story. I found the Paper Menagerie really relatable, a story with a very strong message and very, very emotional. Watching an innocent kid who loved the toys made by her mother turning totally against her mom and even seeing her on deathbed made him feel nothing is very dreadful. It's very painful for a parent to watch his kid this way. Jack insulting his inheritance is very similar to what kids do nowadays. Each one of us just wants to forget our background, our culture, our rituals, what our parents taught us, and we all want to adopt the Western way of living life. But we forget our culture is what builds us. It builds our personality. It's embarrassing how Jack protected his paper toys in front of Mark, and later on the same Jack packed all his toys and kept it in the shoe attic where he could never find them again. The way Jack questions his father if he looks like a chink is very hurtful. Also, his mother tries her very best to fit in. She does everything she could to fit in the American culture, but he doesn't see that. He doesn't respect the things his mother did for him. The age gap makes things tougher. We understand every immigrant parent faces this, but that's not how you can treat your parent. The age gap makes things tougher to understand, and it actually results in the abandonment of relationships. All I want to say is that we should respect our culture. Our culture is a gift given to us by our parents, and we must keep it alive in the coming generations too.